At this point, you should have color-coded and labeled your colonies. You should have these colonies, these 5 colonies, labeled one color, or colored one color, as the southern colonies that I have down here. Colored in, these are the southern colonies. Then you have these colonies, the middle, and then the top ones are your New England colonies. So you should have 3 colors, you should have 3 regions colored in, and then have your color-coded template down here. So let's make sure that you know which colonies are which. So this one is Georgia, remember, is established because of James Oglethorpe's idea with prisoners. This is South Carolina and North Carolina. Good Lord, I hope you know North Carolina. This is Virginia, and this one is Maryland, okay? This little part is actually part of Virginia, and the rest of this weird shape is Maryland. Then northeast of Maryland, you have this random little triangle, that's Delaware. This little bean is New Jersey. This one's Pennsylvania. And then this one is New York, okay, including this island is New York. And even though this is now modern day Vermont, it's actually part of New York during the colonies. So if you want to color this and label this as part of New York, then that's perfectly fine. Then we have Massachusetts, okay, with the little hook here. This is Massachusetts, and in fact, all of this is Massachusetts at first. So this, even though it's modern day Maine, is actually still part of Massachusetts during the colonies. And this is New Hampshire, and it breaks away from Massachusetts. So label this New Hampshire, and this one's Massachusetts, and then you can label if you want, this is also Massachusetts. Remember, Massachusetts is where Plymouth is established in 1620. So we have our first colony, our first settlement established down here in Virginia, and our second one soon after is in Plymouth, Massachusetts, up here in New England. Eventually, breaking away from Massachusetts is Rhode Island, so this little one is Rhode Island, and then this rectangle is Connecticut, also breaking away. So you've got Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, including this part right here, and then you've got New Hampshire. Alright, so let's talk about each of the regions, because you don't need to know the specifics of each colony. You'll talk more about that in U.S. history, but let's talk about each of the 3 regions. You know that in New England, it is cold, okay? Up north, it is extremely cold, and it's got a cold climate. In the south, down here, it's warm, okay? Especially here in July and August, it's definitely heated. So we have a warm climate. In this middle region, we're going to call it seasonal, okay? Their climate is very seasonal, meaning it's hot in the summer and cool in the winter. Also, since we live down here in the South in North Carolina, we could go ahead and say that we have a very agricultural economy, and mainly that's because we have very flat land. Please add that. We have flat land. Flat land, warm climate, this makes for good agriculture, okay? Not so much for good trading, we'll talk about why in a few minutes. So we have a very agricultural economy, meaning we grow stuff and we sell it. That is the perfect reason for why people came to the South to make money, okay? Because there's lots of flat land and you can farm and sell your crops for money. And so that's why people who wanted to make money came to the South. So the origin, I think it says in your notes, origin is why do they come, okay? Where do they come from? They came from England. They wanted to come for money, okay? It originated for people looking to make a profit. The religion is Anglican. Since they are not coming here, the colonists aren't coming here to separate from the church or for religious freedom. If they're coming to make money, they're still part of the Church of England. And if you're part of the Church of England, then you're Anglican. So beside Anglican, right, follows Church of England. Okay, so again, if you're coming here to make money, you're not breaking away from the church, you're still part of the church, and that makes you Anglican. Okay, let's transition to the New England colony, so let's jump back up. Unlike the South, which has very flat land, New England does not have flat land. It's very rocky, the soil is not very fertile, so they are not going to have an agricultural economy. Instead, they're going to have a great trading or commercial economy. This word right here, commercial, okay, it stems from commerce. Commerce means trade. Make a note of that on your paper. Commerce equals trade. And trade in this time period involves shipping stuff overseas. And if you look, they have really great harbors. You see this little indentation here and here and here. Okay, that's perfect for ships to come in. You can load up the ships and send them overseas. And it's perfect and conducive for commerce. Okay, let's jump back down here. These are very jagged edges, and if you know anything about North Carolina, probably in 4th grade social studies, you learned that North Carolina's coast is called the graveyard of the Atlantic, and that's because ships would come in here and try to get into the coast, but because it's such a jagged edge and we have the inlets and the outer banks, it's not very good for ships to come in if they can't control where they're going very well, like they couldn't during the 1600s. And so lots of ships sunk, so it's called the graveyard of the Atlantic. So any ships trying to get in here, usually sunk, is not so conducive for trading. But remember, it's got flat, fertile land, which is perfect for agriculture. So we have lots of crops being grown down here, sending them to New England, and New England sending them overseas back to the mother country, and other countries even for trade. Okay. Obviously, they did not come to the New World to trade. That's not very wise if they want to do that. If they were coming to make money, most of them went to the South. The people in New England, if you remember anything about Plymouth, which we talked about in the last video, they came for religious freedom. Like the Mayflower Compact, they're coming, they're not planning to go back. These are Puritans and Pilgrims. They're coming for religious freedom. So, that being said, their religion is mainly Puritan. Let's transition to this middle area, okay? The middle is just kind of a hogwash of New England and southern colonies. Like I said, it's seasonal, meaning it's hot in the summer, cool in the winter. It's got a mixed economy, meaning it has both good trade and good agriculture in places. There's places where they farm, and there's places where they have good trading industries. Okay? They came for different reasons. Some came to make money, and some came for religious freedom. And, like, for example, Pennsylvania has a lot of Quakers. They're coming for religious freedom, but also in Pennsylvania there's good land for farming. So they came for many different reasons. Their origin, different reasons. Origin up here is religious freedom. And for religion, it's very diverse. There's some Puritans, there's some Anglicans, and then there's some Catholics and some Quakers. A lot of Catholics established here in Maryland, but it's pretty close to the middle region, so this area is pretty diverse, and if you think about it, it still is very diverse today. New York is much more diverse than North Carolina is. Alright, so let's review. Why would the South be conducive or good for an agricultural economy? Well, because it's flat and has very fertile soil. It is not conducive for trade because of these jagged coastlines. They don't have good harbors. So what are cash crops? Those are crops that get you cash. They make you money. You farm way more than you need for your family, and then the extra stuff you sell to make money, and that's why they're called cash crops. So why do people settle in the South? They settle in the South to make money. Okay, up here in New England, why would New England be conducive to a commercial or a trading economy? Because it doesn't have flat, fertile soil. Instead, it's very rocky, cold, rocky soil, cold climate, and you have these nice indentions for harbors, which are great for ships to come in and for trade.